Hello, everyone. Forest Focus, a nerve-shredding game, almost exhausting to watch as Nottingham Forest draw 1-1 with Chelsea, despite having changed Ward-Prowse sent off after 77 minutes at Stamford Bridge today. The Reds held on through 14 minutes of added time and might even have won a pulsating game. Well, second half at least. Actually, it was a good game throughout, I should say. Joining me to discuss all that and an injury scare for more Gibbs-White is, first of all, Ruby Naylor. Ruby, good to have you with us. How are you today?
I'm excited. I'm happy. I love a match like that where I'm on the edge of my seat and then it ends where we get a point. So I'm feeling great.
Oh, man, edge of the seat indeed. Exactly. Paul Morley, how are you?
Good. Exhausted and satisfied in equal measure, I think, and very nearly delighted at the end, but I'll happily take satisfied. Ruby summed it up very well. Edge of the seat stuff, certainly.
Indeed. Mark Sutherns, how are you today?
Yeah, good. Yeah, Paul's right. Ruby's right. It was exhausting to watch, but I'm proud. I'm proud that we've gone to Stamford Bridge and gave them such a good game, and could have even come away with more. Which we've all seen us go to the Stamford Bridge and not put on anything like that kind of display in years past. But it was very good today again.
What's the main takeaway for you, Ruby, or general thoughts on it? I mean, there's so many emotions you could have after it, but how are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling good, especially coming out of Fulham last week where we just looked flat and uninspiring, getting a point at Stamford Bridge with 10 men without Morgan Gibbs-White, which already feels like 2 men down. I'm happy. I feel like the biggest takeaway is that the beginning of the season where we were doing well, we beat Liverpool, doesn't seem to be a fluke. The Fulham game seems to be the fluke, which is really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know where to start in a sense, Paul. I suppose the thing I wanted to start with, I've written down here, we're a well-drilled team, resolve and defensive shape. That's kind of what I took away from it most, that we look a proper sort of discipline. We've had a couple of red cards, but you know what I mean? We're a proper Premier League unit now, I think.
Yeah, I think streetwise, aren't we? Particularly, when you see 13 minutes come up at the end, you think, oh, crikey, you fear the worst. But we absolutely gave as good as we got in that injury time, didn't we? Probably had more chances than they did. But I think pride is a great word, and Mark used it. And just you say grit, determination. And as Ruby said, arguably all the things that we were sort of slightly lacking a bit last week came back to the fore, and that was probably the most pleasing thing to see. I think just the way that we ground it out. I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about individuals, but I think Yatesy personified the whole team's approach, really. I'm just looking at my notes, and particularly injury time, I've got Yates tick. And just, I mean, you can't praise that guy highly enough. But yeah, he and there's numerous others that personified that steely, gritty, and just more mature approach. I think that situation last year and certainly a couple of years ago, we'd have gone under, and we didn't today. So that was the most pleasing thing, I think.
Yeah, 13 minutes of injury time, Mark. At no point in previous seasons are we seeing that out. Never mind threatening to win the game, which we'll come on to, but just to see that out. And, Sels came up big, which he was going to have to. But, great job to get the point in such trying circumstances. Yeah,
and we created probably 2 very good chances in that stoppage time. Neco Williams and Jota Silva brought out amazing saves from Sanchez. The keepers just came into their own, didn't they, in the last 15, 20 minutes and made the difference to the outcome. I wasn't expecting that. I mean, we obviously were down to 10 men, so that would limited the threat that we had on the break, which is a shame because I actually think, looking back, if we'd have kept 11 on the pitch, we might have even snatched a win. So, but obviously, absolutely delighted with taking a point there because it is a difficult place to go. We've got Cole Palmer, who's starting to hit his pomp, hit his stride, and he really did come into it in the second half. I thought we kept him very quiet in the first half, but Palmer was a factor in the second. And they had a lot of danger out wide, and we dealt with that pretty well. And Milinkovic and Murillo were solid. I think Murillo had a very strange game. He did some things that only Murillo can do in terms of amazing things, and he also made some mistakes that we got away with. But yeah, it was a tremendous game to watch. I'm sure the neutral enjoyed it.
Well, I know a lot of people would have watched the Villa Man United game, which sounds absolutely horrific. So for people who saw that, they were in for a treat, certainly. I'll come back to Murillo. I'll come back to the red card. I guess, in a way, Ruby, was it a story of both keepers? Because Sels was great. I feel like you've got to give Sanchez credit for those saves as well, though, because I thought we were unlucky with Jota and Neco. They put in good efforts, I think.
Yeah, the Neco one especially. I want him to channel his inner Hudson-Odoi and just nick that right inside the post. The Jota one as well. What a header. I thought he was smaller. I did not know he could head the ball like that. That was exciting. And then Sels, especially, he had that double Palmer save at the end, which not a lot of keepers survive. A Palmer shot and then a Palmer rebound, so that's massive. So yeah, I'd say especially towards the end of the match, it was the keepers keeping each side at one point.
Yeah, I mean, Sels has been under scrutiny recently, Paul, hasn't he? Since I can't remember the game. Was it the Brighton game? And he kept his place. I mean, he was outstanding today. He sort of ended that debate until his next mistake, I guess, hasn't he? We have to give him so much credit for his performance today, though.
Yeah, he was brilliant today, wasn't he? I mean, I must hold my hands about, I've not necessarily been calling for a change, but I've said a couple of times, I think Miguel's not far away, just given a few sort of, lapses that we've seen from Sels, but he was absolutely flawless today. And yeah, all credit to him. He stood up like the rest of the team, really. And when needed, when called upon, he was absolutely incredible. That and Cuckoo saved in injury time after they went down the other end after Williams' chance. I mean, arguably maybe could have done better with a header, but just presence of mind to stay big, stay strong, and get a strong hand on it was a fantastic save. So yeah, all credit to Sels. Definitely, even my man of the match today, I think.
Yeah, the double save from Palmer. There was a double save in the first half, Mark, as well, where he got up quickly and kept out. He made Enzo Fernando's rebound look easy. I mean, his best game in a Forest shirt, I think, of Sheffield United away, but that must be up there, if not eclipsing it.
Yeah, I think Sheffield United away and this were probably his best displayed. He made 7 saves today, which is certainly well above his average. And and the Palmer double chance, you would have backed Palmer to put one of those opportunities away, but his reflexes were there, and he made himself big. And the header, you can argue Nkunku should have done better with that, but again, he kept presence of mind, stayed on his line, and reacted well, and did everything you want from your goalkeeper. I mean, I think the save Sanchez made were another level, though. That save from Jota was an incredible save, because I thought that was in. So the two keepers were the protagonists right at the end, and no one would have expected that. With the injury time, you'd think it was going to be backs to the walls. There wouldn't be many chances, but there were 3 or 4 really good, clear-cut chances to win it.
Yeah, the save from Jota was the one. I mean, that was an unbelievable save. So fair play to Sanchez, certainly. And our centre-halves in front, Ruby. I mean, Mark's right about Murillo. Real mixed bag, like so much good work. But I wrote down Murillo gets caught again for the 3rd time by Jackson, and he could have got sent off. He does so much good work. He almost scored. It was Murillo encapsulated, I guess, today, wasn't it?
Yeah, I had that down. One of my first things written about him was that shot in the 39th minute. That was another good Sanchez save. But one of these days he's going to score one of those where he gets the ball at the halfway line, just dribbles all the way up and it goes in. One day it's going to happen. But yeah, Milenkovic is really looking like the partner that Murillo needed. He's looking solid and keeping his place. I wouldn't bring Bolly, I wouldn't bring anybody in right now. And I just think every game, I know Murillo was a little shakier today, but every match our defense looked stronger, in my opinion. And I think them together is going to be special as they progress and have more time.
A word from Milenkovic, Paul, today?
Yeah, I mean, again, absolutely flawless, wasn't he? I think obviously that he had a big hand in the goal, which I'm sure we'll talk about, which just shows that he's his threat at the other end of the field as well. But yeah, he's a solid every week, 7-8 out of 10, isn't he? And again today there was one instance, wasn't there, where the ball came across in the second half, and I think Sels was sort of having a bit of a go at him for putting it out, but he's one of those defenders that he defends first and do the fancy stuff, leave that to other people. Just ball comes in, get rid of it, whether it's behind or out of field. So yeah, he was brilliant, and what a buy he is looking like so far. I mean, I think the commentator on the game I was watching said, he's one of the bargains of the season so far, and I think if he carries on, he's going to be the bargain of the season.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. Over 400 people watching inside 10 minutes, which is great. Do us a favour and hit like on the video if you haven't already. We'd appreciate that. Happy birthday to Kevin in the chat as well. Great birthday present indeed. Right, the other big incident, which kind of frames the discussion, I'm really interested to hear people's thoughts on this, was the red card for Ward-Prowse. Any complaints about either, Mark? And also the big question is, was he right to handle it or not? Because I got some flack on Twitter for saying he shouldn't have handled it.
It was a red card for sure. It was 2 yellows, wasn't it? I mean, the first one, Palmer was through and running out of defence, and it was a very good decision to take that yellow, I think, because Palmer is obviously incredibly dangerous in that situation. And for once, you know, we'd lost him and he got free of the shackles. That was the first half booking. And the second half booking, well, he made a mistake, didn't he? You know, he let the ball run under his feet. Jackson was away. You could argue that in the spur of the moment, you know, was Jackson going to convert from there? Very difficult to say, but it was, I think, the right thing to do. There was 13, 14 minutes to go. Obviously, he put us in trouble, but we came out of it with a point. And who's to know whether Jackson would have gone away and converted the chance or squared it for someone to convert the chance. I think in that moment, you know, you're slipping, you know, Jackson's got the pace. You do it, don't you? So he's a seasoned professional, obviously Ward-Prowse, experienced player. I don't question it, really. I think he had to do that. And in the end, you can say it worked out for us.
Yeah, I think it's the natural human reaction that 9 times out of 10 you're going to do. But I don't think he needed to, because we got caught in the first half a couple of times. Again, Murillo, and we've got away with it. And Jackson's absolutely miles from goal there. And cynically, you think it's Jackson, and he's not heading towards the centre of the pitch. But this is all me saying with hindsight. So I do think he should have let him go. But there you go. What about you, Ruby?
I'm with Mark on this one. It's an instinct reaction. James Ward-Prowse isn't fast. Nico Jackson is fast. He's gonna get away, whether or not the center backs are gonna have enough time to get over to him. Again, it's hindsight, like you said. I don't fault him for it. I remember Caicedo got a yellow in like the 20th minute, and I was like, oh, you don't want your 6 on a yellow that early. And then James Ward-Prowse like 10 minutes later got a yellow, and I was like, you don't want your 8 on a yellow that early. And then we got the short end of the stick there. But I do think I probably would have done the same thing. Especially as a seasoned professional, like Mark said, your instinct is to take one for the team. He knows he's going to get a red. He's not stupid. And we got away with the point. He might have scored there. He might have not. But in the end, he made the right decision because it stayed 1-1 and we got a point.
Yeah, I'm not like raging at him at all, to be honest. But it's just one of those marginal decisions that I think he got wrong. But I can see why he did it. Just quickly for you, Paul, and then we'll talk a little bit more about Ward-Prowse in general.
Yeah, look, hindsight did the right thing. I think for me, I guess it's one of those sliding doors moments, isn't it? Had he not done that and Jackson races away and scores, we're giving him pelters for not doing it. So, you know, yeah, really difficult position. He obviously put himself in with the mistake, but obviously in the end we got away with it. So, yeah, no harm done, thankfully.
What did you make of him in general? Because he was getting stick on Twitter for his performance, but I'd actually written down Ward-Prowse playing well in my notes, literally the last thing I wrote before he got sent off. So what did you make of his performance today?
Yeah, no, I thought there was a number of times where he sort of intercepted at the front post, or he got himself in a really good position defensively when their wingers sort of got round the outside of both Aina and Moreno and got balls into the box, and he seemed to be the one there tidying it up. Yeah, I thought it was a solid game. I think, again, he just brings a sort of calmness, doesn't he, to the team with his experience, and you know, whenever he's on the ball, you feel comfortable. You don't feel like he's got a mistake in him, ironically, which obviously led to his red card. But yeah, no, I thought he was fine. I certainly wouldn't criticise him for his play generally, apart from obviously the mistake and the red.
Thank you very much to Richard Spray. That's outstandingly generous of you. $20. Ruby will know what that is in the exchange rate, but it's very generous regardless. So thank you very much, Richard. Appreciate that. I want to just go back. There's a good stat here from Ian Finch. Let me just see if I can find it, which feeds back into the midfield thing. Before I forget this, Ian Finch, who's producing Match of the Day 2 tonight, or directing it, I'd imagine. For Ryan Yates, people who aren't watching, most Forest shots, one of them was very rash, he shouldn't have done it. Most duels in the match, 15, 7-1, one possession the most times, ran 11 points to 17 kilometres, more than any other Forest player. He's stealing your gig there, Mark. But just while I remember this, a word for Yatesy and that general midfield compactness and balance that we seem to have taken from the Liverpool game into this one.
Yeah, I mean, the midfield's really solid, isn't it? I mean, Anderson and Ward-Prowse are good on the ball. They're passing strong and they're dependable. And Yates, this was a Yates game, wasn't it? If you're summing up what kind of game you want Ryan Yates in, this is perfect for him. I noted that in the first minute he fouled Enzo Fernandez, and then him and Fernandez were at it all game. And clearly the ploy was Yates was trying to aggravate him and get to him to see if he could provoke him. And then I noticed that when Fernandes went off, Felix came on and he fouled Felix straight away. And Felix said, that's the second time he's done that. Obviously, one of them was to Enzo. So he was there agitating and doing what he normally does, targeting their key man in midfield, getting in under his skin. And then obviously when we went down to 10 men, he was doing that wonderful thing of just winning free kicks, getting the ball and waiting for the touch and then going down. He's a master of that art. And it's what you need. It's what you need to see out those kind of contests. And yeah, he epitomised the grit and determination and battle that we showed today.
Yeah, massively. It's winning the fouls when you're down a player. That's what does it. Let's go all the way back then. We've covered a lot of bases and obviously get on to the goals. Team selection. Ruby went back to more what we were thinking. There was the interesting thing with Hudson-Odoi on the right and Anderson on the left. I guess to counter Gusto breaking into midfield. But what did you make of the team selection from Nuno to start with?
I was a little confused because Anderson, once we got into the match, just kept coming over to the right side. It seemed that we had nobody on the left wing for a while. He was either sitting in the middle or all the way by Hudson-Odoi. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a tactician per se. I'm sure there was a plan there. It seemed to work because we got the point. I've been erring on the side of trusting Nuno even when I'm a little confused, and this sits in that realm for me. I mean, Alanga came on and didn't do too much, but we were already down to 10 men at that point. He didn't not do anything, but it worked out. So, I'm a little confused, but it worked out.
I think it worked first half, Paul, didn't it? It clogged the centre of the pitch. It made the ball go out to their fullbacks and challenged them against our fullbacks. And to be fair, Sancho and Madueke were dangerous, but we did restrict them first half very much, didn't we?
Yeah, it was. To be fair, it's the team that I would have picked. I think it was the team that Pete picked, wasn't it, the other day? With a combination of sort of having that number of bodies in midfield and Anderson, which I'm not surprised he sort of got took off. I'm sure he probably got through a lot of yards as well, doing the sort of dual role of tucking in when we're out of possession and then obviously dropping out wide. So I was very happy with the team selection. As you say, it sort of forced them to go wide and not through the middle. I think, and we'll come on to their goal. I think I've written after 12 minutes, it looked like a deliberate tactic to try and get Madueke one-on-one with Moreno. A few times in the first half, he sort of had that situation, and ultimately that was the goal, wasn't it? But all in all, I thought the selection was good, and I thought substitutions were good as well. We reacted positively to the situation we found ourselves in, both after the red card and before. So, I couldn't fault Nuno today. I thought he was spot on.
I'm sure Jasper Morley will be delighted with that comment. I assume this is Jasper This is Paul Jr., is it?
It is. I've just replied. I can see he's managed to get himself in the comments, which is very kind of him. But he's probably being a bit overly generous, I think. But fair play to him.
Good on Jasper. Good on him. Let's talk about our goal then, Mark. We take the lead. We scored from a set piece, and it was seen pretty well worked. Milenkovic pins himself on Gusto, and the hero of my FPL team today, Chris Wood, buries it again. Yeah,
he took it well, didn't he? I mean, he's so economical. I mean, he's had I think 12 shots this season, 9 on target. So his accuracy is right up there with the best. I think only Solanke's got a better shot accuracy amongst forwards so far this season. His conversion rate is 33%, and only Delap and Duran have got higher conversion rate this season. So the headlines that Duran is making, and obviously Delap's been very impressive for Ipswich. So he's doing exactly what he did last season. He doesn't need much to convert a chance. It's not like we're creating lots of chances. We're really not. We've that's one of the concerns at the moment, is we're not creating enough from open play. But from set pieces, we've clearly got more about us. Milenkovic gives us that extra dimension, and we've seen recently, haven't we, Murillo pull off to the far post and be the target. This time it was Milenkovic, and he won the ball. It was a mistake by Chelsea to leave him isolated out there, and Wood, did what he normally does: one touch, one goal.
It's the movement, isn't it, Ruby, of Wood, and the finish. He's so clever. After the goal, he was putting himself on Gusto at the back stick time and time again, and we didn't cross it to him. That annoyed me a bit, but just the intelligence of a veteran striker coming to the fore, I think.
Yeah, that's what it was for me, knowing exactly where he needed to be. This seemed like it was probably out of the training ground. He picked out Milankovic, and then he found Wood. There was a free kick in the first half that Ward-Prowse did to almost the same position, but on the right side of the goal, and it went to absolutely no one. It seemed like the set piece that scored the goal, that was supposed to be that, and there was some sort of miscommunication. And then when we actually got down to it, we scored it, which is cool that they tried it again, even though it didn't work the first time. Yeah, it was fun. It was a good goal. It was one of those ones where I was writing something, look down at my notebook, I look up, and they're running off to the side, so that stunk. But it was exciting. It was a good little tap right underneath Sanchez. It was fun.
Chelsea goal, Paul. Can we? There's always a route where you think a spot where you think you can do better. What was your read on it?
I think, as I said, I think you could see that they had a plan to get Madueke one-on-one with Moreno, and a couple of times he went outside him, didn't he? And I mentioned before how he got outside and we dealt with the balls into the box pretty well. So I guess Moreno might have been a little bit hesitant because he'd been beaten on the outside 2 or 3 times to let him go that way. But obviously by forcing him back inside, it forces him onto his left where he can get that shot away. So yeah, I guess if you're picking, if you're being picky, then maybe Moreno could have done more to force him wide rather than let him come inside and shoot. But it's a good shot. Keeper was completely blameless. I think sometimes people score good goals against you, don't they? And you've got to hold your hands up. And it was one of those. I don't think we did anything terribly wrong with that goal, but Moreno probably with a slight question mark could he have forced him outside. But credit to Madueke for a good finish.
As Tony says, do us a favour and hit like on the video. It does make a big difference and would appreciate it. It takes 1 second, so just do that quickly if you could while Paul takes a sip on it. What are you drinking there, Paul? What are you on today?
Moretti.
Nice.
I thought I'd celebrate. Obviously, other beers are available. But yeah, I thought celebrating the point, I thought it was worthy of cracking one open.
Talking of beer, I've totally forgot to advertise the NAV, so I'm glad I asked about that. Here is a quick word for an upcoming away game, actually. Forest are at Leicester. Obviously, that's an interesting game because they actually won today. 25th of October. Happy hour drinks all night, chippy tea until 9 a.m. I should have made the video longer. You can get your food from Barbecue Courtyard and enjoy. Is the game on Sky? I guess it must be. Yeah. Anyway, I'll do a better job of that advert next time. I caught myself on the fly because I totally forgot to do it. I think he's right, isn't he, Mark, what Paul says there? Madueke's a good player and he's a form player. He's probably a bit frustrating to watch if you're a Chelsea fan because he doesn't pass the ball, but he's got that quality in him. And I don't think Sels could have saved it, could he?
I was disappointed with Sels on that, to be honest. I wouldn't describe it as an unstoppable finish. I don't know if it got a touch off a defender on the way through. And it wasn't right in the corner, I wouldn't have said. It was a very low XG chance. So I was a little bit kind of miffed that perhaps he didn't get a hand to it, push it away. But he made up for it later on, obviously. So, it was one of those things. Madueke was getting isolated one-on-one. I mean, that comes from us trying to shut down Palmer. I think Chelsea obviously realised that we were going to tuck Anderson in to try and fill the space with Palmer, which meant that Moreno was always going to be one-on-one because Anderson that side wasn't helping him. So that was always a problem for us. But I think Moreno stuck to the task. Just in that one, perhaps, he could have got tighter to him. But I think him and Aina had decent games under a lot of pressure from Sancho and Madueke, who are going to cause a lot of defences, a lot of problems.
Yeah, I wonder. I haven't seen the replay. I thought it might have come off Yates through a crowd of bodies and just touched his shin. So I'm not sure on that one. I mean, we should mention Palmer, Ruby, because the whole build-up was about Palmer. We defended so well against him. It obviously creates other problems because there were times we had 4 on him, but generally we kept him quiet and managed to mostly keep the others quiet as much as you can, I guess.
Yeah, that was one of the things I noted in the first half was that I barely heard his name. I heard Madueke a lot because, like you said, that seemed to be their plan, which I was okay with because, like you mentioned, he doesn't pass the ball. He'll take Moreno on and shoot it every single time. Like, I would put money that his rates are probably passing it maybe 5% of the time. So, yeah, it was cool to not really hear Palmer that much, but like you said, it caused other problems. There was one time when, like you said, there was a box around him. It reminded me of that one like Iniesta meme where he has like 4 or 5 players around him and he still gets out of it. So it was cool to have Palmer shut down. I would say Madueke is not as good of a player. He has good attributes as well. But yeah, I would say that's one of my favorite things from this match.
A worrying day for our version of Palmer, though, Paul, with Morgan going off. I don't think we can say much about it other than kind of the fact he walked off probably gives us a bit of hope. And he's going to be unlucky with England, I fear, but hopefully it's not too bad, selfishly, from our point of view.
Yeah, that was my take. The fact that he walked off is a positive, isn't it? I don't know. It didn't seem to be a contact injury, did it? It looked more like he'd sort of tweaked something as he took the shot with calf or Achilles. Hopefully not Achilles, but if it's a calf strain, then that's 3 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe, depending on how serious it is. Again, I'm speculating, so we don't really know, do we? But you'd think he's going to have a rest now for the next couple of weeks, which probably might not be a bad thing. That he doesn't go away with England from a selfish point of view. Again, shame for him, obviously, having made the squad. But yeah, let's just hope that he isn't too badly injured, and that we see him back on the pitch again towards the end of the month. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, possibly ankle in the end. The subs are a bit interesting, Mark, because we brought on Jota first change for Anderson, which I was surprised at, and then Dominguez second change when he finally got ready to get on the pitch. Took an absolute eternity. And then Jota ends up sort of playing that number 10 role. I mean, every time I see him, he wins me over more and more. He's pushing for a start, but he's so electric and infectious, isn't he?
Oh, he was superb when he came on, I thought. It's just what you need, a player who can hold the ball up, win free kicks, and he's so determined, and he's got some threat about him, isn't he? He hasn't got loads of pace, but he's got trickery, and he can hold the ball well, he can defend it, and he can win free kicks, similar to Yates. And he almost got the winner. I mean, with that header, it's a really deft header, and he was 9 times out of 10 the keeper doesn't get to that. So I thought he was outstanding when he came on. So he really is a real joker in the pack to bring on in this kind of scenario when we're trying to chase a game, or in that scenario there where you need someone to just buy us some time. He's absolutely perfect for that. So I think he's been a very astute signing, and he's got a role to play. There's no doubt about it.
Is he starting the next game for you?
If Gibbs-White is out, I would have thought that he's in line to start. Yeah, we're running out of numbers, aren't we? And I think that, I mean, it depends whether we go Elanga and Hudson-Odoi in that game. Arguably, we should. It's a home game, so we should go full tilt. So it really depends whether Anderson plays a 10. It'd be interesting to see what he does with that. I mean, Ward-Prowse will be out, of course, as well. So we're going to be short. So it might be his time to get a start. Yeah.
Yeah, probably a question for another day, I guess, to pick up on. Another sub had an interesting afternoon. Ruby and Neco started a brawl. Was he lucky there, or was it just, did he mean it? I'm not sure he did, but what did you make of it?
I think Cucurella started that. He gave Elanga a little nudge, which set Williams off. So I'm going to go with that was Cucurella's fault. I thought he came on and did well. I like the subs in general. I think moving to the back five and kind of playing without a striker was the right move. Obviously, Neco had a couple good opportunities that he could have / should have scored. So he was good for me. I've always been a relatively big Williams advocate, especially as a sub. Especially when Moreno had gotten beaten on that last one and Madueke scored. That was a good change for me. And it's always exciting for me when he has a good performance.
What about you, Mark? I'll go around the room. Sorry, Paul, just quickly. Yellow card, red card, nothing for that trip?
For the touchline melee, Neco?
Yeah.
I think he just sort of got caught. His legs got caught, and they ended up in the Cucurella. It's funny, Cucurella took out Maresca, wasn't it? That was a comedy moment. But yeah, no, it was a bit of a coming together, and then obviously a bit of handbags, wasn't it? I think yellow card was fine for that.
Yeah, I didn't even think it was a yellow card. I think it was just because he fell into Maresca. Personally, I don't even think he knew he was there. Really, it was quite funny that Chelsea got more players booked from that incident. But any thoughts on that, Mark, and Neco in general, and the fullbacks? We haven't really touched on the fullbacks too much.
No, I thought Maresca was good in that incident, actually, because I think I noticed that he was trying to calm it down. He wasn't pushing for a red card. So that was good to see, because he could have really overplayed that and feigned an injury or whatever himself, couldn't he? So he actually showed dignity there and did us a favour, because it could have been a lot worse, because Cucurella did follow through, obviously. It was a bit naughty, but I think it was, probably a yellow card. And the fracas did us good, because it helped disrupt the momentum that Chelsea were building. So it was absolutely perfect. That's what you want. You want those, if you're in 13 minutes of stoppage time, you want that punctuated with stoppages like that. It's going to break it up. So they probably lost some time there. It should have been a couple more minutes added on, but it was good. So Yeah, Williams did well when he came on. He gives us that energy we need, don't we? When we've got tired legs on the pitch, and when you've got Madueke running at you, you need those fresh legs to cope with that. And yeah, it makes sense. I mean, yeah, we did. The substitutions were all good. The fullbacks were good on the day. They had like I said, they had a really tough challenge ahead of them in that game. Both the wingers are very tricky. Perhaps end product for Sancho and Madueke is not always great, but certainly they can beat you either side, go either way. And I thought Aina and Moreno stuck to it really well. Aina in particular, again, does he have a bad game? I think he's been brilliant this season.
Yeah, really good, really good. The subs were interesting. We obviously analysed the manager a lot here. We gave him some flack last week. When he brought them on, I was a bit surprised because Taiwo didn't get on again, and we ended up playing 5-4-9. It did work. I mean, you've got to give credit. We had the threat on the break because Chelsea were high and we had players to run in behind Ruby, I guess.
Yeah, I think he made the right decision in the end. We were playing 1-1, no Gibbs-White, down to 10 men, so 9 men in terms of attacking. I think it did what we needed to do. It shut down. I mean, they had a couple opportunities still, and we still got up. We still had a couple opportunities after we moved into that 5-4 formation. I think I credit to Williams. I do think he created a couple of those. I just really like these subs. I thought Morato came on. Didn't really hear his name, but I think that's good in terms of a defender. I don't really want to hear his name because usually it means they made a mistake. So yeah, I think the back five was a smart decision. It built a bus, if you will. Yeah, I'm backing Nuno there.
He's doing. I suppose it's home versus away, isn't it, Paul? Last week the conversation was about we can't break down teams at home, but if you take the away situation isolation, I mean, it's like 10 out of 10 job that Nuno's doing, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And just come back to those subs. I think I was the same, thinking, bring on Taiwo just to help hold it up. But actually, it was Elanga who created the chance for Williams, wasn't it? And there was a couple of other bits of defensive work he did, but nipping in front of, I can't remember which Chelsea player it was, and nicking the ball away. And then I think Dominguez got brought down, and we won a yellow card again, as Mark said, broke up the game. Won a free kick to say, broke up the game. So, yeah, subs today were perfect. I think Morato, you say didn't really mention him much, but he, again, a bit like Milenkovic, he's a proper defender, isn't he? Ball came in a few times, he just, big neck muscles, headed it as far as he could away, and that's what you want, isn't it? Particularly in that sort of in that scenario. I think he was perhaps we talked before about the double save that Sels made from Palmer. I think Palmer just nicked in front of Morato. It looked a little bit flat-footed there. It was just come on, wasn't it? But certainly recovered from that and did his job afterwards. So, yeah, Nuno's tactics away from home, obviously, absolutely spot on. I mean, crikey, if you just said at the start of the season, we've pick up 5 points at Brighton, Liverpool and Chelsea, you'd absolutely snap the hands off. So yeah, whatever he's doing it right. Hopefully we managed to get the home form going. I think, arguably, by having Ward-Prowse suspended, it means we're going to have to. We literally got two. We're going to have to play 4-2-3-1 next game, pretty much, because there's everybody else is sort of out on this. So it's going to have to be Yates and Anderson, and then you'd think Silva's going to come in, which is going to mean we're going to be on the front foot. So that in itself might be a blessing in disguise, and that it forces his hand in terms of playing a more positive formation without Gibbs-White at home, given the personnel that we've got left. So yeah, hopefully we managed to get that win against Palace, and onwards and upwards, and home form starts to complement the away form.
Nico Dominguez is crying on the coach on the way home if he's hearing that.
I was going to say.
Yeah, I forgot about him. Good point. But yeah, look, I guess it depends on what Nuno does, doesn't it? Yeah, to be fair, I did forget about Dominguez in that little sum up there. But no, he's done nothing wrong either. And again, when he came on, again, difficult, wasn't he, coming on in the situation that he did? But he certainly put himself about, as he always does, full of energy, and didn't let the team down one bit.
You on beer as well, Mark?
Oh yeah, of course. You need. What have you got? I need a drink after that. I've got Peroni. Yeah, also Italian beer. But yeah,
10 out of 10 choice.
Yeah,
very good, very good. Talking to 10 out of 10, having continue on Nuno as an away manager. I mean, just give us your thoughts on him. It's not rocket science to not do what Brighton did last week, but he did set us up very well.
Yeah, I mean, I think away, it's bizarre, isn't it? We've become a very accomplished side away from home, which, if you look at what we've had for the last couple of seasons, that would be hard to imagine. But Paul was right when he summed up there, point at Brighton, win at Liverpool, point at Chelsea. I mean, this is stuff dreams are made of. If we can, the thing is, we've got to start beating sides at home, and that's the problem. We've only scored 3 goals from open play all season, and there's only one side worse than that, and that's Palace. So it'll be a very interesting game when we come together. We've got to get better in possession. Our passing success is the second lowest, so we're not good with the ball, and that's obviously you get more of that at home. So we've got to be more effective with our possession at home. We've got to create more chances, and we've got to score more goals from open play. Away from home, that's not so much of an issue because you're not about possession. You're about defending and getting stuck in and taking your chances when you get them. Hopefully, you don't need to create too many chances to score. And with Chris Wood in the team, that is the case. So it all works well. The team is set up beautifully for these away games, particularly ones where we're on the back foot, we're defending deep and we're countering. It's at home where have we got the players to break opponents down? And, Palace come to us in no great shape. I look at that and think this is a very good time to play Palace. They're really struggling to find any rhythm. They're not scoring goals, as I've mentioned. So it should be 3 points. But we're not, if we're out Gibbs-White, there will be some concern again that we might struggle to break them down. But away from home, it's happy days and we can't complain. And if we can get some home wins, then, we're going to be more than safe. I'm not concerned at all.
No, me neither. We'll come back to that to finish. Just some final thoughts from everyone else. Just Ruby, any final thoughts on the game and who was your man of the match?
Ooh, I'm going to go Sels. I think somebody said that at the beginning, but I do think he won us the point. Yeah, so I'm going to go Sels. And I did have some final thoughts, and then they escaped me. So I'll let you know if they come back to
I was going to say, I'll go to Paul. Put your hand up like you're back in school. There's my hand. And then we'll come back to you if they return to you. Paul, any final thoughts and who was your man of the match?
No, I think I said at the beginning, Sels just about nicked it for me, just ahead of Yates and probably Milenkovic, the other two that deserve a special mention. Yeah, final thoughts, just really, really pleased with the way that we are competing in games overall, looking solid, looking streetwise, like I said before. And I think, we're really set up now for a good rest of the season, or certainly a good run up to Christmas. We've got some winnable fixtures coming up between the next block, I think, before the next international break. So getting a point today really sets us into that block of games with confidence. Top half guaranteed going into this international break, whatever happens in the other game this afternoon. I'm feeling great and looking forward to get this international break out of the way and get cracking on with some home wins, hopefully.
I'll come to Mark shortly for his man of the match and go back to Ruby for final thoughts if she's got any. Just a quick word for our sponsors, second sponsors, Nottingham Window Company. If you're looking to get your windows done like I was in the summer, then contact Nottingham Window Company and they will sort you out with a new windows and a new door as well. If you need a new door, I didn't, but they did a cracking job with my windows. Link is in the description and you can see photos on YouTube of the kind of stuff they do inside and out. So get in touch with Nottingham Window Company. Just about managed to talk for 25 seconds there. Mark, your man of the match?
I'm going to go Milenkovic. Obviously, Sels made the saves. I need to see them back again to see, whether they were saves that he shouldn't have made. But I think Milenkovic was just such an assured presence at the back. Won 5 of his 7 aerial duels. Since he's come in, there's only, out of defenders who have had 20 aerial duels, only O'Shea of Ipswich and Konate of Liverpool have won more. And that's proved very important. I had a look tonight as well about our susceptibility at set pieces and expected goals at set plays. We're the best in the division, which is crazy. So we've got an XG conceded at set plays of 1, which is the lowest. Now that's down to Milenkovic and obviously down to the coaching. And it's great to see because we went into the season with that as a big Achilles heel and we've turned it around to be the best in the division at defending at set plays to this point. So that's very encouraging. And Milenkovic is just, so quietly assured and he did the business today again for me.
Yeah, the 3 players that for me, they're right, a shoulder above the rest were the ones everyone's mentioned: Sels, Milenkovic, and Ryan Yates. So I would probably go for Sels. Part of this is a bit heart overhead because he's taken some hammer, and you think it's nice to give him his flowers and say that he was. But Milenkovic is outstanding. He's just made such a difference for all the reasons Mark points out. Certainly, this is a good point. I'll throw this to you, Ruby, to finish. This bracket of games is over. I think we said we would take 4 points, as Dave said. Some of us would take 3 to 5 anyway, from a tough bracket of games. Liverpool, Brighton, Fulham and Chelsea. We've come out of it with 5. The Fulham one's a little bit disappointing, obviously, but overall, very positive. How are you feeling at this point of the season, Ruby, heading into the international break?
Excited. Mark, did you say that we have the highest defending rate against set pieces?
Yeah, conceded the fewest XG at set pieces, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you had told me that a year and a half ago, I would have called you crazy, So, I mean, overall excited going into international break, nothing to bog me down mentally. If I'm going to play devil's advocate, Wood getting injured is a really scary scenario. Our goals would be few and far between. Seeing Taiwo last week, he just looks slow, looks like something's weighing him down. And then again, I believe we conceded within 10 minutes again, which again, 10, 15 minutes isn't something we've got to work on. Overall, very excited, but just final thoughts, a sprinkle of negativity and the shine of positivity.
No, that's good. That's a good way to be balanced. And yeah, I agree. It was a bit of a basketball game after we scored, but we're nitpicking there, and we've got to be thrilled with everything overall. So very, very happy indeed. Do us a favour and hit like on this already if you haven't. Oh, I've got so many slides now in this thing. It's ridiculous. There it is. Hit like, do subscribe, and you can become a channel member. If you're a channel member, you can get my player ratings in about an hour and 15 minutes and give us a lovely review on iTunes. We'll be back tomorrow, hopefully, with David Prutton, who told me he'd let me know today if he can do it, and he hasn't. So I'm going to have to message him for a 4th time and look like an absolute nag and see if he can do it. But we'll be back tomorrow at some point, and then we'll probably make it up as we go along for the rest of the week. It's an international break, so we'll be around as much as we can anyway. Good to have everyone's company today, 500 plus with us, which is great. So hopefully we'll see you through the week. In the meantime, Ruby, thank you very much.
Thank you. Very happy.
Very happy indeed. Paul Morley, thank you very much.
Thank you. Absolute pleasure. Can't believe we managed to get through all of that in 40 odd minutes. Thought we'd be here for a good hour and a half, but yeah, feeling good. And thanks everyone for joining. And fingers crossed we turn these away results into home points after the international break.
Off to have a word with Jasper, or is he all right?
I will be doing, yes.
Mark, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Thanks. Good to see you, Ruby and Paul. For the next 6 at home. So we've got to turn that home form around if we can. Palace, West Ham, Newcastle, Ipswich, they're all winnable. Starting to dream we're going to be top half, which would be fantastic.
We'll pick that up tomorrow. That is a good point. That's the next big topic. Those home games are going to decide so much of our season, aren't they? When you think about it, but we'll expand on that tomorrow. What are you going to watch Brighton v Spurs from the start now? You've recorded it, Mark.
I always do. I've got Solanke in my team. I brought him in for Watkins. I've just seen Watkins blank, so hopefully Solanke gets me something. Yeah, and I want to see Brennan do well, of course.
I can't comment on anything that's happened in the game, so I look forward to you. I look forward to you watching it, and you can text me after if you want. Right, have a good evening, everyone. Enjoyed that very much. Like I say, back tomorrow. If we don't see you then, hopefully we shall see you soon.